Welcome to U.S. immigration. In recent years, USCIS walled itself off from its customers, creating barriers to timely immigration benefits and efficient customer service. This invisible wall has resulted in a significant decrease in customers' ability to access meaningful assistance and informational updates from the agency. It has also reduced customers' ability to provide much-needed feedback to USCIS regarding problematic case issues and other trends. Each one of you have a unique immigration concern. It may be regarding indefinite wait time or a wish for change in immigration policy that directly or indirectly affects your case. You have even commented about them in various immigration channels and forums, in spite of knowing they are not going to be actioned by the appropriate government agency. But that's not going to be the case anymore. You have a good news now. President Biden announced his objective to encourage full participation by immigrants and directed responsible federal agencies to identify strategies that promote integration, inclusion, and citizenship. He also directed federal agencies to identify barriers that impede access to immigration benefits and efficient adjudications of these benefits. As per that announcement, the Department of Homeland Security is seeking comments from the public on how U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services can reduce administrative barriers and burdens within its regulations and policies, including those that prevent foreign citizens from easily obtaining access to immigration services and benefits. This effort will help DHS identify process improvements for USCIS. The commenting period is from April 19, 2021 to May 19, 2021. Interested persons are invited to comment by submitting written data, views, or arguments using the method identified in Federal e-rulemaking portal. DHS will also use the public's feedback to consider reduction of administrative burdens more broadly. DHS will consider the feedback and make changes or process improvements at its sole discretion. Commenting on DHS notice is not a substitute for commenting on other ongoing DHS rulemaking efforts. To be considered as part of a specific rulemaking effort, comments on DHS rules must be received during the comment period, identified in the relevant rule published in the Federal Register, and in the manner specified therein. Comments submitted should be meaningful and actionable too. Public feedback that simply states that USCIS should change its processes but does not contain specific information on what change should be considered is less useful to USCIS. If you are planning to submit a comment, then it's preferable to get help from an immigration expert in order to specify exact Code of Federal Regulation or USCIS policy manual citation to ensure meaningful actions will be taken for your submitted comments. If you are interested in any of these topics, please stick around till the end of this video. For your immigration news and updates, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. Let's get into the video. On February 2, 2021, President Biden issued Executive Order 14012, restoring faith in our legal immigration systems. In that executive order, President Biden announced his objective to encourage full participation by immigrants and directed responsible federal agencies to identify strategies that promote integration, inclusion, and citizenship. He also directed federal agencies to identify barriers that impede access to fair immigration benefits and efficient adjudications of these benefits. Other executive order and memorandum states, the federal government should design its policies and programs to reflect our best understanding of how people engage with, participate in, use, and respond to those policies and programs. It also calls for the evidence-based iterative development and the equitable delivery of policies, programs, and agency operations, including approaches that may be informed by the social, behavioral, and data science. To achieve President Biden's objectives, DHS is soliciting public input to better understand and identify administrative barriers and burdens, including paperwork requirements, waiting time, and other obstacles that impair the functions of the USCIS process and unnecessarily impede access to USCIS immigration benefits. The relevant burdens might be imposed on state, local, and tribal governments, businesses, including small businesses and startups, educational institutions, nonprofits, households, and individuals. DHS is also seeking input to help identify current USCIS processes or those previously in place that promote equity and inclusion and learn how USCIS might leverage and incorporate those successes and lessons learned in other immigration benefits and adjudication processes. Independent of the current request for public input, DHS continually evaluates its regulatory program for rules that are candidates for retrospective review. DHS does so through legally mandated retrospective review requirements. Why public feedback is important. To achieve the objectives outlined in presidential executive orders and memorandum on restoring trust in government through scientific integrity and evidence-based policymaking, it is critical that public input helps drive process improvements in strategies, processes, and planning. Because the impacts and effects of immigration benefits tend to be widely dispersed in society, members of the public, especially regulated stakeholders, and those that typically participate in USCIS rulemakings are likely to have useful information, data, and perspectives on the benefits and burdens of our existing processes. When processes are especially burdensome, members of the public may have unique knowledge. Given that unique knowledge, a primary factor that will improve the USCIS immigration process is public feedback. As mentioned earlier, if you are planning to submit a comment, then it's preferable to get help from an immigration expert to quote exact Code of Federal Regulation or USCIS Policy Manual citation to ensure meaningful actions will be taken for your submitted comments. Your comments should be guided by following principles. We highlight a few of those points here, noting that comments that will be most useful to DHS are those that are guided by the below principles. Commenters should consider these principles as they answer and respond to the questions in this notice. Commenters should identify, with specificity, the regulation or immigration process at issue, providing the Code of Federal Regulation or USCIS Policy Manual citation, where available or applicable. If a new regulation is being suggested, addressing a subject matter that is not currently coded in regulations, it should be identified with as much specificity as possible, along with references to the program or process and statutory authority. Commenters should provide as much detail as possible, explaining why a USCIS regulation form or information collection or immigration process should be modified, streamlined, expanded, or repealed. Comments should also provide specific suggestions about how USCIS can better achieve its regulatory objectives and reduce unnecessary burdens on public institutions, the private sector, households, individuals, or other stakeholders. To the extent feasible, commenters should provide specific data that document the costs, burdens, and benefits of existing requirements and how proposed changes would reduce costs and burdens and increase benefits to USCIS or the public. Comments should emphasize any burdensome processes that have been in effect for enough time to warrant a fair evaluation, in most cases for more than 1 year. Comments that reiterate substantive issues already raised in public comments submitted on recently issued rules will be less useful unless they provide new information, for example, pointing to new studies or data, or offering novel alternatives. Information and link for submitting comments in Federal Rulemaking Portal is provided in the description of this video. In the information section, USCIS has provided a non-exhaustive list of questions to assist members of the public in formulating comments. Hope the information presented in the video is useful. US Immigration Channel will be releasing a video when additional information is available on any of these program or regulations. If you have not subscribed, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. See you soon in our next video.